What's up, guys? I'm JP.
I'm Ryan, and
I am Rick from the Whole Damn Enchilada podcast.
Mike's there.
Mike's there. I gotta get
You
closer.
don't have to be super close.
Yeah,
but
you be able to do that?
not. I have to be close on one I use. That one you don't have to be so close.
Right
Just make sure you're kind of pointing towards it.
All right. You got all this fancy equipment and stuff. We don't got this kind of stuff.
well, hold on now. Your guys' live presentation is pretty on point because you guys do the call and response, and I love it. So I give you guys credit there.
Right.
He's got the StreamYard, so he's got all the little flashy shit.
It looks good, though. It looks good.
It took
I love
me
it.
a year and a half to learn how to work somewhat.
One day you'll learn to edit like I do.
Yeah, no.
You both have me beat because he does all the.
He does all the technical
Yeah.
stuff.
So, hey Rick, what did you have us do today?
What did they have us do today? We decided a while ago we were talking about doing an episode on zombie films. Because we made a pilgrimage up to Monroe, is it Monroe or Monroeville? Monroeville, Michigan.
Yeah, Monroeville, PA.
Not Pennsylvania. See,
PA.
I'm getting confused with Monroe, Michigan. I'm screwing this all up. Yeah, Monroeville, Pennsylvania, home of all the zombie films.
Yeah,
Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead.
Home of George Romero and
Well, we chatted
Savini.
I'm jealous you guys went. I'm sorry I missed that, by the way. But we also chatted at the AKC show back a minute ago too about having you come on and do something with.
Oh
the
yeah, I was
zombie.
really drunk that night.
Yeah, I was too. That's all right.
That's the most money I've ever spent at a concert. I went home and I'm like, please don't let me overdraft my account. Please. And I still had money in there, but it wasn't a lot.
But he
What's
came up to
funny-
me. He's bringing the mask up to me. He's like, "Look at the mask he got. Look at that."
What's funny is he's like, JP, can you guest list me tonight? I don't have any. I'm broke, and so I guest listed him. Then he spent like all this money.
Well, that's
on
because
merch.
at the time you guys were ready to sell out, and I didn't want to miss it. I knew I'd have money that night.
I know. I'm fucking with you.
I'm sure.
Too late.
I'm sure the merch table is happy you guys listed him.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. It made it back.
All right, back to the matter at hand because we got some serious stuff to talk about
Yeah.
today.
We're doing our top 5 zombie films, but we're going to have a lot of honorable mentions. We're essentially going to have a top 10, essentially,
Give or take, yeah.
Give or take.
give or take. But we're all very passionate about zombies, so this can go on for a minute. We're going to try and keep this dialed in as much as we can. But I'm excited about this. This is fucking going to be awesome.
So what is the definition of a zombie? Are we going to exclude things because certain people may think they're a zombie film and certain people may think they're not? Or?
I mean, there's things I excluded. I excluded Evil Dead.
So I guess it would be up to the person that made the list.
Yeah.
I did not include Evil Dead either because Deadites I feel are different than zombies.
Yeah.
So that was just my take on that.
I didn't write down Evil Dead anywhere because I figured one of you guys might bring them up, or you might have the take that a Deadite is not a zombie, which is fair.
And you know, and I say Evil Dead because Evil Dead's the big one, I think, because there's a ton of top 10 lists you could pull up by anybody who's doing a top 10 list or a top 5 list of zombies, and Evil Dead for a lot of them shows up on it, and I don't see Evil Dead is more of a demon and a possession film.
Okay, that was my next question. What's the difference between a Deadite and a zombie, in your opinion?
Yeah, I feel like a Deadite's more of a demon possession. You know, even though I guess you could say that some of those skeletons are just reanimated corpses, but I still think it's a possession for me.
But they are possessed by some kind of demon, even they're reanimated corpses.
Yeah, so
I get with that. And again, that's why probably I didn't put them on
But
my
to your
list.
point, though, I mean, it's to the list, the beholder of the list.
Yeah.
Yes.
you could consider it.
So spoiler alert, we will not be having Evil Dead movies on
but
either one of our lists.
My number 5 when we start going around, it is probably not zombie.
I have one that most people. I found it on a list of top 100 zombie movies today. So somebody else thinks it's a zombie movie too. So we'll see if it's on your guys' list, and we'll see if you guys feel the same.
Oh,
I'm gonna cover it up.
what are we
there
going
'cause you
to do?
get
How are we
spoiled.
going to do to do this? Who goes first?
I'm gonna say we got
Oh,
a
we
guest
do
in the
the
house.
you guys always do the gimmick with the.
We do, but how are 3 of us going to do
Oh, you
that?
can do it. It'll work. It'll work.
All right, rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Now see,
Damn!
he wins.
All right.
See, I didn't want to explain it. It took me too
I'll
long to
take
explain,
that.
but I knew it would work.
I'll take that.
It works easier 3 ways.
So you want to go first, or you want to pick, or you want to pick which one of us goes
I'm
first?
going to say that I'd like the guest to go first.
Okay.
All right. So I don't know. Do I want to do these in a particular order or just random at the thing? And
I'm doing my 5 to 1.
5 to 1. All right. Well, I don't want to talk about that one yet because. All right. So I will go. Oh, I got more over here. Look at that. I'm just all scatterbrained. All right. So we will go with 1980's City of the Living Dead by Lucio Fulci.
I figured you would have this one on here.
We just talked about him last week's episode. Because I chose him. So JP's
on the.
This is an episode that I haven't heard yet.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that's why I'm like, I haven't missed an episode. How do I not know this?
So last week's
This is in
episode
the future
was
with the past.
It was low budget independent directors, and I chose Fulci as my top.
Oh,
he was
nice.
he was
Nice.
number 3,
I can't wait.
and talked about City of the Dead. So go ahead.
I should have got here earlier and sat in the green room and just listened.
We have a green room. We do.
It might be green. I don't know.
It's the entertainment room next
It's
door.
a room. It looks like a green room. You guys have played a lot of clubs and stuff. That probably looks better than some of the green rooms you've actually been in.
Oh, yeah.
So City of the Living Dead, 1980. It's the first of the Gates of Hell trilogy. I'm a big giant Fulci fan. This is a new thing for me, though. It was about maybe a year and a half ago. I got introduced to Fulci by my friend, my friend Zigzag from the Death Curse Society, and then I just really went all in with it, and just started watching them all. But came out in 1980. It's a low budget film, obviously. Some cool things about it. They had 22 pounds of actual maggots, which I'm definitely afraid of maggots. Definitely afraid of maggots. So, like, if I was there, I wouldn't be able to be there. Not even for $1 million, I wouldn't be able to do it. So that was one of the cool things. The gut puke scene. I mean, that was weird. And I found out today while I was doing my little bit of research that part of it, they have the horrible wooden heads in a lot of Fulci movies that you can clearly tell are not real. And I wish those were a little bit better, but what are you going to do? But when they show her not in a close-up, that's her really puking because she ate some nasty tripe. I'm going to spit stuff on my table.
Tripe.
Tripe. You familiar with tripe?
Yeah, but I just love those saying it.
Yeah.
Tripe.
Who eats it? But nevertheless,
Yeah.
I guess she eats it, and it makes her puke all over the place. But yeah, that's what I got for that. That's my we'll call that my number 5.
Okay.
Because they all have different numbers next to them that will not correlate with where I rank them.
I've loved Fulci since I found him in the 90s.
Okay.
And I saw a lot of those back in the 90s, early 2000s, when I got into like a lot of Italian horror, and then I got into a lot of Japanese horror back then with another random zombie film called Versus. It was like a kung fu or a ninjas fighting zombies, essentially, kind of what it was. So I did not put any of his films on my list, though.
Because you knew they would come up, or
I knew
because
they
they
would
don't
come
make
up,
your top 5?
but they don't make my top 5.
Okay, all right.
I've got my
Interesting.
honorable mention.
So they didn't even make my honorable mentions.
Oh wow, okay.
So
You're a hater, man.
I'm not a hater. I'm not a hater. I do enjoy his films. If we did a
Maestro.
if we did a top 20 list, this goes back to kind of what I said in last week's episode. If we did a top 20 list, he'd probably end up on it. But for me personally, he didn't show up.
All right.
So
Well, that won't be the only time he shows up on my list. So
my
it's
number
the first time.
my number 5 is a Stuart Gordon film.
Okay, I don't think I have this on my list.
And this film, and if you are a fan of AKC, I actually had a shirt design.
Oh my god, I do
Over
know this,
this
and that's
film.
I left it off my list on purpose. Okay.
Reanimator.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Herbert West. I love Herbert West. I love Reanimator. I mean, it's a gory film. It's a fucking crazy film. Yeah,
All timer.
It's just one of those. It's one of the. I think for me, it's one of the most innovative zombie films that uses zombies but also feels very kind of Frankensteinish.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's why I love. It's very old school feeling.
Yeah, mad scientist vibe.
Yeah. And I love 50s films, 60s films. So like the nuclear age films, from that time period. And so Reanimator for me is a more modern version of some of those style films. You know, it kind of takes the classic horror, then kind of takes the nuclear horror. It kind of takes all these different elements from different time periods and makes a zombie film. And
Right.
yeah, and for me, it works. Yeah.
You brought up Frankenstein. Do you consider Frankenstein a zombie film? It is a reanimated corpse.
You know,
I mean, it really several put together.
You
know,
technically, you probably could. I did not include.
I don't have it on my list either. But I just
didn't put it on my list.
I
either,
just got other.
I don't think you could
to come up with.
disinclude that one. I think that one is a better zombie film than Evil Dead.
Right.
Yeah.
Closer to a real zombie film. No, I thought I think Reanimator it's one of the most perfect zombie films because it embodies the prepostery that goes on in a lot of these zombie films, the insanity. It doesn't make sense. It's not real. I mean, it's just so far out there. And it's like comedic at times, and you got the gore, you got everything you want.
Yeah.
And you got Barbara Crampton. That doesn't hurt, right?
Nah, never.
I just ran into her a week or two ago.
I saw that.
Looking
yeah.
lovely.
All right. My number 5. So this one is questionable about if it's technically zombie. For number 5, I chose Last Man on Earth, Vincent Price.
No, this is a zombie
Ooh,
film. Yeah.
good one.
I mean, yes, but more vampire leaning, but yeah. So but for me, like when and for those watching, if you have seen Omega Man or you've seen I Am Legend.
I was going to say, I actually prefer Omega Man to Last Man on Earth, but
this is like one of those, like I stumbled upon this King of the Zombies and a few other amazing old flicks from one of those horror packs on a DVD where you get like 25 horror films. And I stumbled on them when I was like 12. And for whatever reason, this version of Vincent Price and this movie resonated with me so huge. I loved it in every way, shape, or form of the way. It's just something about the idea of survival at its finest, humanity trying to go against all odds. There's just some element to it that just, God, I fucking loved it.
I stumbled upon probably about the same age, probably about 12 years old, and I fell in love with Vincent Price because of that movie.
Yeah, me as well.
And then I dove back into what became my favorite Vincent Price movies, which was the Dr. Phoebes movies, and then obviously House on Haunted Hill, and so on. So it grew into a Vincent Price fandom for me. But however, after watching Omega Man, I preferred Omega Man to Last Man on Earth. I think I just, maybe it's because it was in color and it was more of a 60s, 70s style.
That's
and I like what's his name, Charlton Heston in it. Like he thought he was fantastic in that movie. So, but Last Man on Earth, when I say I prefer Omega Man, I mean it's like
neck and neck.
Yeah. You know.
Well, even I Am Legend, Will Smith, even that was definitely influenced by both those films. I mean, actually, they're all based, I Am Legend is its own book, should I say, that influenced those films. But I Am Legend, though, basically it's a similar story.
I preferred those to I Am Legend. And I think I Am Legend would fall, maybe if it would use more practical effects versus crappy CGI.
CGI.
I Am Legend might fall a little higher in comparison to those first two, but I prefer Last Man on Earth and Omega Man.
I disagree about the CGI, not about the movie, but CGI in general, only because there's some really fucking shitty movies that you love, JP, with really shitty CGI, and you love them even more for that.
It's on purpose, though.
Yeah, when it's got the shitty CGI, and it makes it look even worse, and that kind of adds to the charm of it all.
Yeah. It's on
purpose.
Sometimes really bad movies are good because
when
they're really
it's
bad.
Convenient, I got you.
It's a little more than the convenience. It's like, I don't know how to explain it. Just
when it helps me win an argument.
I mean, if that's your take on it. Was it you that I saw that had a picture with Vincent Price's daughter? Or was it somebody else? Somebody in my feed had a picture of Vincent Price's daughter.
No, but I know about it. I might have shared it because she was appearing at a con that I was helping somebody promote.
Maybe
that might have been me. Yeah,
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Isn't that weird? I was thinking about that. Like you're gonna go pay to get an autograph by somebody that kind of knew the other guy.
Well, I mean, he made her, but
it's not the same, man. I'm sorry.
Same DNA.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not doing it.
It's the closest you're gonna get. Now,
I'm friends with Fulci's daughter on Facebook. I'm not going to ask Fulci's daughter to appear at a con that I'm promoting or to sign something for. I'm not. It's just kind of cool to talk. Like the message back and forth. Things, but no. No.
One of my shitty mom's boyfriends. Growing up, he thought because he knew I like Jimi Hendrix, he had met Jimi Hendrix's cousin Ricky Hendrix at an airport, and he brought me the autograph, and I'm like, sweet. I was like, what the fuck? It's
what
that's not Jimmy.
It's what I always wanted. It's Ricky's autograph.
And I grew up on Jimi Hendrix and Stevie Ray Vaughan, and Stevie Ray Vaughan's brother though, Jimmy Vaughan. He's a guitar player, but not as good as Stevie.
Well, at least he's a guitar player.
Yeah, I know. But I saw him open up for Buddy Guy last year, and I was like, because he was trying to play some of the Stevie stuff, and I was like, ooh, probably shouldn't do it. But same point as that.
Yeah. Crazy.
All right. Well, what's your number 4 then, Rick?
My number four will be. We are gonna go with another movie from 1985. 1985 could be its own zombie list. I keep hitting stuff. Could be its own zombie list. There was 4 of them. There was Reanimator. There was another one that's gonna, I'm sure, come up, and this one, and 2 other ones. But Day of the Dead.
Oh, yeah, that's
Day of the Dead, which I actually enjoy more than Dawn of the Dead.
You're on crack.
Well, it's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse. So, judging by our list, it's gonna get worse.
Our previous conversation, I take your side in this, but for the original trilogy, I have to go with JP on that one.
Dawn of the Dead is the best of the original trilogy.
I disagree.
I don't agree with that one.
I think it's third. No. If I ranked all of those movies, it might even be fifth if I include remakes.
So the Romero trilogy, the first 3, we all have a varying degree of opinion on this, so we're in a good spot.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And, Day of the Dead, I don't know. I mean, I'll wait to get into that more when Dawn inevitably comes up. But with Day, it was Romero's favorite.
Well, that doesn't mean that this is best, though.
Well, it's my favorite. Well, that's not my favorite, but I do like it better than Dawn. And Savini, I think he did a much better job with the zombies. Of course, Greg Nicotero was involved. Here's an interesting fact for you Star Wars nerds. Star Wars nerds, yeah. I always get Star Wars, Star Trek mixed up.
Jesus Christ.
I know the difference. It's just when I'm speaking. Like when I was talking to Leslie Hoffman the other day, name drop. She was on Star Trek, and I think I said Star Wars, but I knew she was on. I know the difference. I've seen them all, but but I know the hardcore nerds get offended by that when you get them mixed up.
We are the hardcore nerds.
Exactly. And she is the other way. She's a Trekkie. But zombies, they're voiced by Salacious Crumb actor. I can't read my own handwriting, but the guy that was Salacious Crumb in Star Wars.
Well, he doesn't have a voice, but he has a noise.
Yeah, he was making noises. He was making noises for the both.
Yeah. Oh, he did. Okay.
He did the noises for the zombies. He did Salacious Crumb.
Okay. Cool.
Thought you guys would think that was pretty cool.
I do.
All right, good.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love that.
His name was, it looks like it was Mort Dotson? Mary Dotson? Mark Dotson? I don't know. I can't read my own handwriting.
So one of the reasons I like when we do lists is because the way that other people perceive movies that I like, but I might not see it through their eyes. Now I can go back and rewatch these movies with different eyes.
Yeah.
So I appreciate things like that. So that's good.
Right on.
My number 4. I'm going to go with the 80s classic starring Tom Atkins.
Okay, nice.
I didn't
put this, but I knew it was going to. I had a feeling it was going to come up.
Night of the Creeps.
Good one.
That's a great choice.
That's my number 4. I love the thing with Night of the Creeps.
So the thing is,
I love that Tom Atkins fully embraces that he is in a bad movie. And he plays the part so perfect. He plays it over the top dramatic, and he walks into every scene, thrill me. It's and he's so over the top, it becomes perfect for me. It's so stupid and cheesy and over the top, and it's Tom Atkins really makes the movie for me, more so than the zombies and the kids that it follows. But then you got the flip side. The story with the kids is interesting and it's fun. You kind of get this whole Slither kind of vibe that, and these kids are getting infected with these.
I always call this the prequel to Slither.
It kind of is, you know. They kind of get infected with these little leech-looking things that are crawling on the ground, and
they mass produce inside of them.
Yeah, it becomes a pretty gory, fucked up movie, disgusting movie. You know, it's it's just one of my favorites, and for multiple reasons. You know. So
it definitely checks all the boxes of the campiness and the gore and the 80s just charm. Anytime you get Tom Atkins, it's a good time.
I think if this film didn't have Tom Atkins, I would still love it. It would probably be within a top 10. But I think Tom Atkins over the top acting pushes it into my top 5.
I still think it's even without him, I still think it's a cool dynamic and thought process.
All day long.
But I do like his little charm for sure. Yeah. All right, my number 4. Men in Black. No, I'm totally kidding. That was just because we were talking about the different.
That was my number 1.
I couldn't even take that further, but based on our conversations about what defines a zombie, and that one guy with the roach, and so
would he be a zombie?
But he's a roach. He's a roach wearing.
I mean, he's a bug, undead
though,
moving. I mean, but it's a Slither though. I mean, so
yeah.
But so that's the other thing.
He's not moving though. The bug is moving. And he's just using him
tomato.
Yeah, I guess so. But he does have very zombie-like qualities. The way he walks, and
I do like. So there's your fast zombies, slow zombies. You've got viral virus type zombies. You've got slugs. We've got the bugs. Yeah. So there's all sorts of different things. And I do.
Is that really on the list?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a joke, but then
it totally was a joke.
You keep going. I did. Like, oh wait a minute, maybe he's serious.
And it absolutely was a joke that I said that was my number 1. That was 100% all a joke.
No, I believe him implicitly. No, my number 4 is 28 Days Later.
Right.
And
stealing JP's thunder.
His is probably higher up than mine, but I don't disregard. Like it's a top tier movie. However you spin it, it is phenomenal. I like the new approach to it. I always love a fast zombie, and there's one scene specifically that will always stay with me that I love to this day, and it is when the dad is looking up and the blood droplet comes down, and the way that it's slow mo goes into his eyeball. And I just took my mouth away from the mic when I did that. I'm sorry. Remember that moment. But yeah, when that slow motion little droplet of blood just goes right in his eye, and he knows he's getting affected, and you see every emotion going through, and it's so much. I love every part of this movie. It's a little slow at times, but the slowness adds to the allure as a whole. So 28 Days Later is my number 4.
But zombie movies can be slow, like Dawn of the Dead. It's a slow burn, and so that's okay. I have not seen this movie, and I wanted to see this movie. I tried to see this movie. I found it was streaming because we had this idea. Everybody says 28 Days Later is awesome, and then now you have the 28 years later getting ready to come out, and of course I got to go back and watch the first 2 before I see this. And funny thing is, when I went to find it on streaming, did you know that there is a 28 months later? That has absolutely nothing to do. No, months.
Yeah.
It's 28 days, 28 weeks, and everybody says, "Why did they go to years and not months?" There is a 28 months later.
It's a Sandra Bullock movie.
Is this Sandra Bullock in it?
I think so.
It has the same symbol.
Bullocks.
Has nothing to do with the first 2 movies. She can't be in there.
Oh, maybe it's a different one, but there is another movie. I think it's a Sandra Bullock movie called.
Oh no, yeah, this one has to do with zombies. This is like somebody stole their idea and is trying to pass it off as real. Okay, no, yeah, I know the Sandra Bullock movie because it came up on one of your shows before. Yeah, that's not. This has like the same biohazard weird symbol thing. Go to Fandango and search it up.
Probably on Tubi for free.
It probably
is, but that's what it looks like, and I just thought that was hilarious. But.
So here's the thing: before we move any further, my number 1 zombie film of all time is 28 Days Later.
And I knew that.
This film, it's your number 4.
Number 4, but that's because there's a tall order ahead.
Because he likes 3 better, man.
The thing is, and you've heard me talk in previous episodes, that Danny Boyle is one of my all-time favorite directors. He's like, again, I've said it in the previous episode, 2 episodes ago? He's one of my all-time favorite directors. He's never, in my eyes, he's never done a film that was not just amazing. 28 Days Later, what he did with zombies was next level, and it was even more so. But this predates The Walking Dead. it's about the zombies, but it's not even so much about the zombies as it's about how people are living through and getting through this apocalypse with the military and the sick, demented things these military guys are doing. It becomes very a more. I think it feels more important, with the nature of human beings versus just it's a zombie film.
I think that's why a lot of it is focused around the characters versus the zombies.
Yeah.
So and it works, but when the zombies do come into fruition or into play, they're full out
they're
crazy.
They're full on crazy. And the thing is, this is my number one for our top 5 zombie films, but I'm going to be honest, I don't know where it would land, but this film would more than likely land in a top 5 all-time list for me.
Oh, wow.
And that's why I got to see this movie, because you speak so highly of it. Everybody I know that's seen it talks a lot about it, talks real highly of it. I've never heard anybody say it sucks.
Yeah. So rewind back to you, because you were like, it's okay to be slow. I agree for build-ups of slow. I think that sometimes it's appropriate and you get the right story and content out of it. However, one of the big gripes we always have too is pacing and editing in Hollywood right now is just so bad that there's so much stuff that you could have done without for the purpose of the movie.
Right.
And I feel like there are some moments in 20 Days Later, you're not going to agree, but there might be some moments in 20 Days Later where that's possible. Like I remember specifically the first time I saw this in the theater and I walked out and the guy that was walking out to the left of me, he goes, feels more like 28 years later. And that was back then. And so now here we are with the movie 28 years later coming out. So
now, I will say this. As much as I love 28 Days Later, I'm not a big fan of 28 Weeks Later.
And a lot of people aren't.
Yeah.
A lot of people, like, basically 28 Days Later is an A, 28 Weeks Later is on average from what I hear is like a C.
But you got to understand, Danny Boyle didn't do that one.
Okay, right on. So it lost a lot of its luster.
And don't get me wrong, it's not bad. It's just not amazing either.
Right, that's why I said most people give it like a C. That's an A.
It's not a horrible film. It's just not a Danny Boyle film.
Right.
So,
all right, so I guess we're on my third movie. Friday the 13th, Part 6.
That's a complete zombie film.
Thank you.
100%.
All right, I wasn't sure if I was going to get backlash for that. It's on a list of top 100 zombie movies I seen earlier. Yeah. It's the first appearance of Zombie Jason, or if you talk to my good friend Adam Marcus, Deadite Jason. So back to the whole Deadite zombie thing, But this is before we knew about that, so he's still a zombie.
He's Zombie Jason.
It's your list, man.
Tom McLaughlin directed. I mean, it's the best of the undead Jasons.
It's probably
it's a lot of people's favorite Friday.
I think it's probably my favorite Friday 13th period because and we've talked about this a little bit in the past. I think this is my
top 5.
I think this is my favorite, and I think Jason X or Part 5 falls into my number 2 and 3, somewhere's in there. But I feel like 6 is probably my number 1, and I think it's because it's the most memorable for me. Mm-hmm. Growing up, this is the one that was really over advertised, and you had Alice Cooper doing the song for it. It was on MTV,
right.
And so it was the one that just really generated in my head. And then when I went and watched it, then obviously you got Tom Matthews, and I love Tom Matthews. There's so much to love about Part 6.
Tom Matthews will come up again in a second, I'm sure. It's got all the campiness of the other zombie movies like you were talking about too. It's like comedy, dark comedy more than any other Friday the 13th. It's just beautiful.
And this goes into why I really appreciated you turning me on to was it Never Hike Alone?
Oh yeah. And where they extended Tommy's story.
Yeah, with
Tom Matthews.
Yeah,
they brought him back.
They continue Part 6 storyline like 30, 40 years later with Tom Matthews, and
they're just great films. They would rank if you put them in the Never Hike Alone, Vincent DeSanti, which you could watch for free on YouTube. They would rank in the middle of the series. You could actually they're better than a lot of the movies that are out.
They're better than a lot of the Friday 13th.
2 things real quick from me. I didn't even talk about this on our soundtracks episode, but I do want to say that 28 Days Later, In the House in a Heartbeat is one of my favorite songs to accompany a score on a movie ever, because of the way that it builds. The din 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 din, it's so like it's just building to something, and it's so good. So I love that.
Danny Boyle's good at music.
Well, I mean, that's fucking spectacular. And then B, for those of you who don't know, the Whole Damn Enchilada podcast, a lot of their material is focused around Jason and Friday the 13th.
Yeah, it's our favorite.
Yeah, and
it's our favorite franchise.
And like when I think of Friday the 13th, I actually associate it with Rick in the podcast and Ryan. And Ryan makes custom masks too, right?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, and so like so there's I think there were a couple here.
No, he didn't make those.
Oh, okay, my bad.
No, he didn't make those, but he makes does the 3, the 4, and the 5 masks, and he's dabbled in some of the other ones, and then he does like if you're a fan of a football team, like he could do one like that. Good stuff. He's really, really talented at that.
But I'm just pointing that out because I'm happy that you brought a little piece of your pie into the zombie list, because that tracks. Yeah. That's absolutely accurate.
Yeah. Anything else for Jason?
That's it.
You got anything to add to Jason?
No. Well,
I'm gonna hop to my number 3, and my number 3 is the original Dawn of the Dead.
That is not on my list,
and it is the superior.
It's not on my list either, because it's not there.
It's the superior Dawn of the Dead.
You're wrong here.
I think you're wrong, and I think we're gonna take a lot of more people are gonna side with you than us.
So and this is the thing. I know you guys are going to say, well, the zombies don't look that they're blue.
That's my biggest
purple.
problem with
the blood don't look right. You know what? I honestly love the look of the zombies because they look so off. I love the blood looks so off. I love all those factors. It just adds character to that film, and I love the idea of being locked in a mall during the zombie apocalypse. It would be like being locked in Walmart, access to whatever you need, food, guns, clothing, beds, etc. Just one-stop shop, and so that the whole idea of Dawn of the Dead was perfect for me. But it is also, a statement on consumerism as well,
Which you'll get with George Romero's films.
Yeah, and you get that on that one.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get the consumerism.
Yeah, you do.
Not as much.
Not as much in the remake.
It's just insanity, though. It's you're on the edge of your seat the whole time in the remake, the 04. In the 78, it's a lot slower. It's got its good points, and I do like the film.
It's a different
It's just
time
if
period.
I rank Romero films, it's near the bottom for me.
I don't agree there. So my order is night, dawn, day. It's those ones.
It's night, day, dawn.
Land
See,
is
mine's dawn.
We all have different ones.
Day.
I love that we're all different on that, and that's okay. That's okay for me with the Dawn remake. So I've told the story before on the podcast, but my daughters, when they came of age to start watching horror films, the first 2 movies I showed them was the original Night of the Living Dead and the original Exorcist, and they were like, "This is what scared you." Like they didn't even flinch at them. It didn't scare them at all, because kids are different nowadays, and they're desensitized. I put on the Dawn of the Dead remake, and all of a sudden the blankets are up over their sheet, over their face. I mean, they're like, you can only see their eyes. They're freaking out. They're having nightmares. It impacted them and showed them what horror films are, because the zombies were fast. They were more impactful. They stayed with you. The detail in the eyes and all the skin colors, everything was perfect about this movie. I loved that film. Sorry, I think that remake's amazing.
Right, and my daughter's my daughter was the same way, except for she really liked Night of the Living Dead and Exorcist. I don't know if your daughters actually liked the movies.
They liked it. They just don't understand.
She wasn't scared of it, and she refuses to call The Exorcist a horror movie.
Yeah,
it's not a horror movie. It's not scary. But any other horror movie, like my son, he loves them, but she doesn't like to watch them. She gets scared very easy.
The oldest, when she saw the little flashes of the demon and Exorcist, she was like, "Oh," she didn't like that a little bit, but other than that, we were good.
Right on. Yeah, and the Dawn of the Dead, the mall hasn't changed a bit since 1978, huh?
Other than the fountain's gone.
Oh, I mean, I'm just saying that thing, it's falling apart. It's old. I mean, I love it. I'm glad it's there, but God, man, some of the stores, the signs in the stores even looked really dated.
Yeah, the thing, and Rick and I went to that mall a few weeks ago, and the thing is going in that mall. That mall is so small compared to what I thought it was watching the film. Like it is tiny.
Did you crawl up in the ceiling and everything? No, I'm just kidding.
Yes,
You
I did.
can do that, but you when the guy that his name escapes me, but he does the tours there, and they'll be doing it during Living Dead weekend. If you guys get a chance to go Living Dead weekend, this is probably gonna be the last one since Walmart decided to buy this place, and yeah, so but he does a tour of the whole thing, and he takes you to literally all behind the scenes, every place in there.
I might have to do this.
It's I think it's $25, but I mean you'll never meet a guy that knows more about Romero than this guy.
And the house from Creepshow is like what, a mile away?
Yeah, you can stop and see that too.
Where's this at?
Monroeville,
Pittsburgh.
Pennsylvania,
Pittsburgh.
basically Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I mean, if you're down to go, we'll look at the dates. I'm gonna go.
I have to make a trip out to Pittsburgh to visit at one of the venues I work with.
Right.
So I'll try and combo that and let you know some dates.
Yeah,
Right on.
you
Cool.
got the Night of the Living Dead graveyard. You got
both of them.
all that's down there.
Both Night of the Living Dead graveyards from the remake and from the other thing. All right,
The original.
The original, yeah, the original and the other thing. Yes, yeah, the other thing, the thing that started all of this that we're talking about.
3. Am I on 3?
Yeah, you're on you're 3.
Another 85.
Another 85.
Return of the Living Dead.
I knew it would make it.
This movie was a rewatch recently. I hadn't seen it in some time, and I forgot how much I appreciated it. And not only did I appreciate it, but then the fast zombies is always a big thing for me. So when the zombies are running and I kept coming at the cop cars and the ambulances,
Swarming.
literally,
I mean,
it was insane. So I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the standard. What the hell's his name? Tarman, whatever the main guy.
Tarman.
Yeah, Tarman.
Yeah,
I'm right.
the main zombie.
Yeah, so like I enjoyed that whole thing and him coming out of the canister too, and just the way that they portrayed him, the way the sickness kind of gradually built with some of the characters. Like just so many good elements to this movie. And I'm going to tell a little story here before we move on.
Oh yeah, stories are awesome.
And you've heard this a million times. I'm sorry. I had reoccurring dreams. My first movie that ever fucked me up in the head, I was 6 years old, horror film, Night of the Living Dead, right? Reoccurring dreams, and I would have them annually, or it'd be every few months, meant a year in the dreams. And they would be sequential. So I'd go to sleep one night and it'd start, and then the second night, wherever that dream left off, the next night it would continue. It was so fucking weird. And it'd be a couple days, or it'd be like a week long sometimes.
You just keep picking up where you left off.
But according to the dreams, once a year was Night of the Living Dead, and we all had to survive, right? And I saw one of the movies back in the, I guess it would have been early 90s. So one of my dream sequences when this happened was the fucking punk girl's mouth extending over my head. That's the last thing I saw, and it turned black, and I woke up. And it was because the zombies were just like coming in, and I died a few times over in these things.
Yeah.
So, but most of the time I survived. But that one instance where that girl's head, I'll never forget it, because just her jaw expanded, came over my head, and I was dead. That was it. I just saw pitch black. Freaked me the fuck out.
That's crazy.
I do love that film. Yeah, it didn't. Honestly, I'm gonna be real. Didn't even make honorable mention for me, but there's a reason. And when we get back to it, you'll understand why.
All right.
But I love it. Tom Matthews is in that, and I love the banter between Tom Matthews and his partner. I can't ever think of his name in the mortuary.
I can't think of it either.
Or morgue. I love their banter. It's that's what I love about that film.
Yeah, it checks all the boxes for your zombie movies. Like, it's extremely campy. Like, these idiots, lit the whole thing out, just being stupid. Yeah, Miguel Nunez Jr. in it. That was awesome. Linnea Quigley. I mean, it's some horror icons, some heavy
Quigley's
hitters.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't hurt that she's walking around ass naked. That didn't.
No, it definitely.
I just seen Miguel Nunez. I was watching a documentary about black cinema and horror, and he was on there talking about Return of the Living Dead, and he was just like, yeah, like I'm walking around and she's just naked, and it's like if you really pay attention, he's just like looking at her and staring at her the whole time, and
as he should.
He's just like, damn. But yeah, Miguel Nunez is awesome. I just had him on the show like a week or two ago.
I was on.
That was pretty awesome. Yeah, I ran into him in Pittsburgh, and as soon as I was intending to try to get him on the show, because the Whole Damn Enchilada podcast obviously named after him. So I told him the name of the show, and before I could even get out, this guy's just 100 miles an hour all the time, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I got to be on your show. Here's my cell phone number. Call me and text me, and yeah, I'll be on the show." And it's like, and then I do, and then he just showed up, and then he's like just with his cell phone, just show me around his house. He's talking like I couldn't interview the guy. I'm kind of glad he came in that way, because if you ever seen him in like a real personal setting, like in real life, the guy's insane.
Yeah.
He's absolutely bonkers.
He was on Tour Duty.
Yeah.
I believe in that.
Oh,
was
yeah.
it? Yeah, because I think it was Tour Duty.
It was?
Yeah, my dad used to make me watch. I'd watch that on Channel 55 back to back with Doctor Who.
Yeah.
So yeah, I used to love that shit.
Yeah, I wanted to sit down with him and talk to him about his whole career and everything, but there's no way to do that with that guy.
No, he's too sporadic.
And it was great because he says, like, I'm actually in the middle of my interview with Leslie Hoffman. He just pops in on my feed, and that was like a pre-recorded interview. And I'm like, hey, I don't go on until 7 tonight. It was, I'll be back later. So then I start to hype it, like, Miguel Nunez is going to come on. I get through like half the show. This guy isn't on. I'm like, he's going to make me look stupid. Then he just pops in again. It was beautiful. But yeah, he's awesome. And now Return of the Living Dead is awesome. It's the first zombie film with brains, the whole brains deal. Like, that didn't exist before then. Yeah. Didn't they have a problem with them naming it Return of the Living Dead and the Night of the Living Dead, and them and Romero had a beef about it?
I think there might have been a little bit of a beef,
I think something like that happened.
but I
I wish I
can't
would
remember.
had more time to research that to flesh that out. But I think something like that did happen. And they both coming out the same year.
All right, you're number 2.
Oh, it's on me again.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 2. Got to be Night of the Living Dead, 1968. Somebody got to bring it up.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which was also heavily talked about in this documentary I was watching the other day, because of Dwayne Jones being the first, or maybe not the first, but the first that I can remember, first black lead in a horror film. And it wasn't intentional. I guess Romero, he just was the best person that auditioned for the part, and then with him being in the movie, it took on, and I think it was going to have like some of that subcontext anyway, but a whole subcontext on race relations at the time. And, and it just really, like, that's how Romero does, though. You know, he just
I think it was
weaves in all these.
I think it was fantastic that he casted a black actor as the lead role, you know, in that film. Yeah, and it was something that wasn't happening in the 60s.
It's
Romero
such a
take those
definitive
risks.
moment, though, because there's no better artist than somebody who's saying "fuck you, Hollywood" to me. Like,
And that's Romero.
Yes.
You
So
gotta
like,
do
so
that.
to me, doing that was like the biggest F you could do. Just like, I'm not doing the norms, not doing the standards. This is what we're doing, and it fucking worked.
It worked, and it still holds up all these years later. I mean, you watch that movie, and it's still like
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
for sure. You know, it's amazing, and it spawned one of the greatest remakes we talked about on the remake episode. I was able to join you.
And that's Ryan's. Like, is that like your favorite remake? I know it's one of your favorites.
Dawn is one of my favorites. I like Night as well, but the original Night of the Living Dead that's my jam.
I knew you liked the remake of Not Living Dead.
Yeah, as I was saying earlier, if I ranked the Romero films, like, it'd be Night, then it would be the Night remake, most likely, probably then Day, then the Dawn remake, and then Dawn of the Dead. Like, it'd be that far down the
You
list.
put oh my.
But I do like it. You know what I mean? It sounds like I don't like it. I do like it. I just like all of these a lot better.
What about Land and Diary?
No. We'll just go with no. How about that?
Just no. There's no detail, nothing.
No,
Just,
we're not doing that.
I actually like Land of the Dead.
So Land got a little rough.
No, I don't. It's not even anywhere
They're
near
not
as
good
good
movies.
as. Yeah, I like it for this. They're so horrible that
Right.
Outside of
They could be funny.
outside of Spawn, I really can't stand Leguizamo. I'm sorry. So like Land was rough.
you don't like his Luigi.
Oh God! Oh, Leguizamo. Yeah, no, he's You ever never see his stand-ups?
I mean,
they're not stand-ups. They're like a one-man show.
I mean, but that's different than his acting. Like
100%. But they're really good.
Oh yeah,
And his
I
acting
love him
does
as a
suck.
comedian. Yeah, But I didn't mind him as Clown.
Aside from
Clown and Spawn was perfect.
That's
That
it.
was
He was amazing
yeah.
at that. But no, he's not good.
But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, because I was so put off by Land, I never watched Diary. So
I've never seen.
Diary's good.
I've never seen it.
it is?
Mhm.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, for what it is, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not the best, but I enjoyed it. I found enjoyment out of it.
Right on.
All right.
My number 2, I guess. And any of you guys that know me know that there's no surprise that this one's my number 2. It is a newer zombie film, and it became one of my all-time favorite zombie films.
This might be one that I was thinking about putting on my list.
And that is
No
the
idea.
Korean film
Oh no.
Train to Busan.
Oh, I have
Really?
not seen this yet.
I love.
I do
Train
like.
to
I,
Busan.
don't get me
Everyone
wrong.
says it's
I love
amazing.
it. I love that, and I like Peninsula. But
Peninsula is nowhere near as good as Train
no,
to Busan.
it's not.
Nowhere near as good.
No,
as
no.
Train to
And,
Busan.
and Peninsula, if I'm being honest, that one is one of those ones that we talk about pacing and dragging.
Yeah,
Holy
yeah.
shit!
It's Peninsula is not a very good sequel to Train to Busan. However, Train to Busan, man, the claustrophobia of being on that train, and I love the story between the daughter and the father. I just had a really emotional connection to those characters. The whole film is just so tense. It's so tense that
Because every it's almost like you're playing a video game. Like you get level to level, and they're getting car to car.
yeah.
Snowpiercer kind of vibe, but
Mhm.
they go car to car, and every car is a different level of fuckery,
Yeah.
and they're trying to navigate it. And so I appreciate
Like
that.
7
Yeah.
different levels of hell.
Yep.
Yeah, it's such an intense movie. And then when they do get off the train, and then they get off at the train station, and you see these swarms of zombies, it's like World War Z, but practical effects too.
Nice.
Like they didn't CGI a lot of these people doing flips and stuff. They actually got like parkour, like these Korean parkour guys and stuff doing like these stupid, ridiculous stunts. Like it was practical. Like almost everything in this was practical effects, and so it was so beautifully done.
So Max Brooks, World War Z, loved the book. The movie I like, but it should never been called World War Z. It should have been its own zombie movie. Sorry.
Yeah.
Because that book was amazing. And I listened to the audiobook after I read it, and the audiobook was even better because you had Mark Hamill, Henry Rollins, Alan Alda doing voices in this
Jesus.
fucking audiobook, and I'm like, this is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
It's the most star-studded audiobook of all time, it sounds like.
Each chapter is a different interview with a different person who's done something to survive, and it just everyone gets better.
Yeah, I know you've never seen Train to Busan, but
And isn't it in Korean?
yeah.
You see, and that's the thing. Like when I'm at my house, I got a ton of kids running around and everything. It's hard for me to watch movies where
You
I
can
have to
stop and
really
read,
pay
yeah.
attention because they will distract me. And,
Yeah, I won't
but I
give.
do want to see it.
I won't give too much away.
Oh,
but
you can, 'cause I'll forget.
But it's so intense,
Like squirrel.
and the film is so intense, and then the build up for the ending to that film is so emotional. Like I remember the first time I watched this film, I had tears in my eyes. Like I was so emotionally invested and how it ended. It was just like, oh, it was gut wrenching, but it was so good. It's such a good fucking zombie flick.
Hell
And that's my number 2. And you guys already know my number 1.
All right. It's crazy that besides 28 Days Later, we haven't overlapped any yet, have we? That's the only one, right?
Just 28
To
days
this
later.
point.
Yeah.
To this point, which is, I'm sure, going to change.
We kind of we can. I mean, you and I have already overlapped, but that's my number 1, or it was.
Yeah.
I'm adjusting right now.
Well, actually, did I even? I didn't bring up the Dawn of the Dead remake.
No.
Oh, okay.
That's in my honorable mentions.
Okay, good.
My number. I'm readjusting now. We'll just say that. Where are we at?
Which is what I've been doing on the fly.
Are you up?
I just got
did.
names.
Okay, so I'm up. Well, okay, so I'm picking. This is a twofer for me. One is Korean and one is French. All right. The Korean one is tied for second place only because I'm doing this bump now. My number 1 originally was Night of the Living Dead, Romero originally.
Oh,
so
okay.
that's
Well, it should
my
be.
foundational everything zombie for me.
Absolutely.
Is that film.
As most people. Yeah.
So I fucking love that movie. But for number 2 right now, I'm going with the Korean film is it's on Netflix. It's #Alive. And have you seen this?
I have not seen
Have you
this.
seen?
I have not.
So what it is it's kind of along lines of Train to Busan, all that. I wouldn't even be surprised if it's in the same universe. There's a guy living in an apartment, and the zombie outbreak happens, and he's up probably, if I had to guess, it's like 5-6 stories, something like that. He's in his apartment. His apartment complex has been overrun, but his door's closed, and he's got his door barricaded. So he's just living off what he has. But he starts getting low on food. And all of a sudden, across the way, he at another apartment, he sees someone, and they start kind of communicating back and forth. And she starts sending him food because they connect a rope, and they realize they're the only survivors in that area, at least. And so, but they run out of food, so they eventually have to make a break for it. And what they start having happen is they are jumping from balcony to balcony, building to building, and trying to get away from the main epicenter of this in-city outbreak. It's an amazing story. I feel like Korea is really fucking crushing it right now in the zombie world.
Yeah.
Like
they've been doing it for a while.
In my honorable mentions, while we're talking about Korea, I'll throw this in there too. And it's you picked the wrong kingdom before, but the kingdom you put that poster, that's the Kingdom series. That I think is one of the best zombie series I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Series wise. The French one is called The Horde. I don't know if you guys have seen
I've
The
seen
Horde.
The Horde.
The
Yeah.
Horde
I
is
have not.
Yeah.
I've heard of this one.
The Horde's good.
it's cool because you've got essentially you've got like military and mobsters that were already going at each other. The zombies come into place, and you got a trifecta of fighting happen. But then the mobsters, and the military guys all team up to try and survive to get through. And it's just the way that the movie pans out. It was very well done. It reminded me a lot of what was the movie with the tall building where they had to go down level by level? It's gonna drive me nuts.
Elevator?
No,
Was it Platform?
No, it's all right.
Okay, because I haven't seen that, but I know that happens in said
No,
movie.
there was like a movie. It was like it's not the building. It's the something. Forget it.
The Towering Inferno?
No, it's not. It's gone. It doesn't matter.
It's gone. It doesn't.
All I know is if you are into foreign films and you like zombies, the French movie The Horde, check that out. That's from 2009, and the Korean film Alive #Alive. That's a 2020 film on Netflix.
That's one thing that these Fulci movies have done for me is got me into more foreign language films that I just normally wouldn't give a shot to. Because if you watch these Fulci movies in English, they are really cheesy. You almost have to watch them in Italian to really get what he's going for.
So somebody told me a long time ago, and it was an excellent piece of advice, and it was to because I watched so much anime at the time.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, always watch it in the original language and just read the subtitles.
Right.
Because there's more emotion happening when you watch it in the original language. You can feel the emotion more.
It depends.
And they're not trying to...
Anime, it depends. But in movies, I feel that it's so important to catch that.
It's sometimes kind of like the live action Attack on Titan we was talking about a while back, where they did a direct translation for the subtitles, and so the English didn't make sense.
If I can get the gist of it, though, I'm happy.
Yeah,
I think I'd rather read it a little hokey than have them expressing it hokey, because when they try to match the English to whatever language they're speaking, they'll draw out words and they'll just throw extra words in there, or talk real fast to make it match up with the mouth.
The live action Attack on Titan, and I use this as an example because the voice acting for the English dub was great, and they retranslated the dialogue to where it made sense for English speaking, to where the dub or the subtitle was so broken. The English was so broken that it was hard to comprehend. That the dub version for me was just better.
Yeah, I think that's probably more of an outlier than.
But a lot of times that's
more
a pretty
exception.
That's a pretty rare occasion. So. So we had
we're at number one, dog.
You're number one because I've already gave my number one.
So you'll have to make up another one at that point or something.
I'm just going to do one of my honorable mentions.
I have a 1979 Zombie 2.
Zombie 2 you went with.
Well, because that's the thing, and that's when I first seen it. I said the same thing.
Okay.
Zombie 2. It's the film was called Zombie 2 because it's allegedly. They marketed it as a sequel to Zombie, which is Dawn of the Dead, and I didn't know that at the time. So I had watched Zombie because that's what it's called whenever you find it streaming. Lucio Fulci film, 1979, and I was talking to Zigzag from Death Cure Society because whenever I'm driving for Lyft, I'll go into the exchange, where you can buy used movies and everything, and I seen a used copy of Zombie 2. But I didn't want to buy it because I didn't know if the sequel was any good. I liked the original one, right? Or so I thought.
Yeah.
So I'm texting Ziggy and I'm like, hey, man, they got Zombie 2 here, but I don't know if it's any good. And then I just seen Zombie yesterday. He was like, it's like, oh, that was the first time you ever seen Zombie 2, and he comes like that, and I'm like, what are you talking about? But no, Zombie, the Lucio Fulci movie, is technically Zombie 2, the one we went and seen together.
Yeah,
we went
okay.
with Fabio Frizzi. Technically, it's Zombie 2, and they wanted, even though it was written before Dawn of the Dead, it came out after Dawn of the Dead, and they marketed it as a sequel because overseas they called Dawn of the Dead Zombie.
Yeah.
And it already had that following, and they figured they could pick up some. It was a quick cash grab.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, and I mean, it's got a zombie fighting a shark,
Mm-hmm.
a real legit shoot shark.
Yeah, and this is an honorable mention on my list. So yeah, it's Zombie 2 is
Well, if sorry, go ahead.
Zombie 2 is I mean just because of the shark scene alone.
Yeah, absolutely.
So So just to be clear, Zombie 2 is what we went and saw then.
Yes.
So that's phenomenal. So I remember that whole scene too, and that whole bit.
Yeah.
I've seen that numerous times.
And
I just never
didn't
thought
know any
that was
better.
two.
I didn't know any better either. You
That's
know,
so-
Zombie
well,
2.
that's on my list as well. So I
Is
might
it?
alternate.
But yeah, in the States it's called Zombie, like it's written on my shirt here.
Yeah.
But everywhere else it's ZOMBI,
Right.
and the number 2.
And what's funny is I spelled it that way initially, and then I added the E later because I saw it in the writing. I'm like, that's not right. That seems weird.
No, but it's right. It's right anywhere else.
I actually was like, Mandela effect. So,
But yeah, it's got one of the best scores ever, which we got to see live by Fabio Frizzi. It's
that
just-
was so fucking good, by the way.
I have a painting from Angelo Mariano of the worm-eyed zombie on my wall that I'm actually going to take, I think, next week, Creature Feature Weekend, and get signed by the guy that played the worm-eyed zombie.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is really like, this is where I first fell into my Fulci trap, and yeah, I just absolutely love it.
Well, I'm gonna do an honorable mention.
All right.
Because you still got number 1.
Yep.
So I'm gonna go back and answer what I was talking about earlier with Return of the Living Dead. So Return of the Living Dead did not make my honorable mentions or my top 5 list, obviously. The reason is because my honorable mentions, I put Return of the Living Dead 2.
Because of course he did.
Because I prefer part 2.
Okay.
I don't know why. I don't know what it is about that. I think the interactions between the kids, the zombie kid and then the main kid that's going through the film, I always loved that interaction, and I love that they continued to Tom Matthews and the other guy, the older man that was from the morgue. I love they continued a whole new characters, just a whole new random thing where they get turned into zombies, and he wants to eat his girlfriend's brains because he deserves them because it's his girlfriend. I love how they kill him at the end. Yeah, there's so much I love about part 2 over part 1. I think the pacing's better. I don't know. For me, growing up, I believe and it may be nostalgia for me because I do think that I saw part 2 before I saw 1 when I was a kid, and that's probably why I latch onto that one more so than the original.
Right on.
Sure. I can respect it, just not like it. It's cool. No, I'm just kidding.
It's definitely not better than the original, but whatever you're entitled to your opinion.
If it means something to you, it matters. That's all. Okay, so it was number 2, but I bumped it in first because of just so we didn't have any overlap. Dead Alive.
Get alive.
Yep. So 1992 Peter Jackson film,
Aye.
Lord of the Rings.
Aye, kick ass for the Lord.
So that was an amazing moment. My favorite moment in that whole thing, which I'm sure a lot of people agree with, the lawnmower, without a doubt. It's just fucking quintessential, and it's so funny because it's weird in retrospect because yes, it's a gory movie, but some people I found online were saying that it's the goriest movie they've ever seen.
Well, at one point it was titled, it held the title as bloodiest movie ever made at one point.
Really?
Yeah, because of the lawnmower scene.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because he was literally standing in like a foot of fucking blood in that.
Well, he is, but the blood's on his arms and his face and not his clothes, so that was so weird.
Yeah.
But yeah. What was I gonna say? I did not know it had another title.
It did.
Brain
Yeah,
Dead.
Brain Dead, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was interesting when I just happened to look in the IMDb when I was looking up my list, and Brain Dead was in there. I'm like, what the fuck's Brain Dead? I'm like thinking, I thought maybe there's a double feature they released or something. And
they titled movies different in different countries, you know, and that's.
I knew the story of why, but that was a week ago and I can't remember.
Well, it's kind of like I Come in Peace. You know, we've talked about this in the past. Like, it was titled I Come in Peace in America, but overseas it was Dark Angel. Yeah.
Yeah, there was something to do with the title was like the name of a band or something, and I might even be getting confused with another movie where they did the title different, but that was why. In New Zealand, was it a New Zealand movie?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What do you got? Honorable mentions?
Honorable mentions. No, I covered everything.
You covered everything?
I covered everything I got on my list because I would have had a longer list, but again, forgot I was doing this till about 2:00 this afternoon. And while at work is where I came up with most of the stuff I had here. I would have better stuff. I did write down the crazies though, because my boy Brett Wagner's in it and has like one of the coolest fight scenes ever.
This is a zombie film. I mean,
yeah, it's a zombie film. And if you watch it, I mean, it's Timothy Olyphant and Brett Wagner's fight scene.
Mm-hmm.
Worth the price of admission right there. I do like the original better though. The original Romero.
Depends what mood I'm in.
Yeah,
I'll be
like
honest
both.
with you. I mean, they're
I don't think either one of them are A's.
Yeah, they're both. Yeah,
C and a B and a C or a C and a D, depending.
Yeah.
But I do like them both.
Honorable. I have a handful.
I got a few more.
Let's see. One that we didn't mention, Shaun of the Dead.
I thought that would come up.
Yeah, that's. I almost didn't pick it because I thought that would come up as well.
I actually had it as my number 6 on a top 10. So yeah, Shaun of the Dead
Makes sense.
I have an affinity for that movie because of my son, but I think that one's one of the better executed ones, especially because there is a serious element to it, and there's also the comedic relief.
Which you'll get in any good zombie
Yeah.
movie, or most good zombie movies.
And shout out to Shane. But the Winchester here in Cleveland is an amazing venue and bar, and the bar that you spent so much at,
super drunk at,
but whenever when
the bar that made me not want to drink ever again, as a matter of fact.
when the pandemic hit and everything, all I kept thinking was get to the Winchester,
Get to the Winchester.
pint, yeah. But awesome. Honorable mention, another Korean film, Rampant. Have you seen Rampant?
I have seen that one. Yeah.
He's got like a whole top 5 of Korean films.
Oh, dude, I mean it when I say the Korean zombie thing is so fucking on point. And the best thing, and you can probably appreciate this as a zombie fanatic, the best thing about Rampant and that series I talked about Kingdom is that you are talking brass tacks with them only having, we're in an age where they don't have guns, they don't have weaponry other than swords and arrows, so they're literally fighting hordes of zombies with swords and arrows, and it's fucking brilliant.
Dangerous.
And
You got kind of like long range weapons for them,
and they're fast, and they're in hordes. Like, it's just fucking every time the zombies move in that show, I'm like, my arm hair is standing up right now talking about
exactly.
that shit,
because you really feel
it's good.
Everything collapsing around you.
I'm going to jump down to what was going to be my number 8 in a top 10, Dead Heat.
I don't know this movie.
Yeah, it
sounds familiar.
It's
looked like he was looking at your notes. I was like, what's he doing? He's copying off.
He always looks at my shit.
I know.
It's too small. I can't see it.
That's what he always says. I don't believe him.
It's like you're not my wife.
Dead Heat is basically an 80s action zombie film. I mean, it's very 80s style action, but with zombie gore. It has zombies.
Do you get like really cool like montages with cheesy 80s music?
You got a lot of 80s music for sure.
Because 80s action movie, you got to have that cheesy montage, the training montage.
You got cheesy 80s music, and you got buff guys, 2 buff cops from the 80s, like fighting zombies.
There you go. Sounds like a barrel of monkeys, man.
Barrel of monkeys. We've already covered over and over the Dawn of the Dead remake, so I'm not going to go down that road. We've talked about Zombie, so I'm not going to go down that road. So I'm going to go with a little gem from 1981. It's an Italian movie called Burial Ground.
I own it.
So this movie, I'll never forget going in. My buddy and I were like 13. He was staying at my house, at my grandparents' house. So like grandma took us to a video store to rent a movie. And we picked this fucking movie because the clerk, grandma wasn't in the store. We go up to the clerk and like, hey man, what's the scariest thing you got? And he pointed at Burial Ground. And by no means was was scary, but I'll never forget as long as I live. The woman and the character in it, her son. There's a scene between her son and her. Her son is obsessed with the idea of breastfeeding with his mom, and mom does not know that he's been turned into a zombie, and they get into a fight before he gets turned into a zombie, and he runs off and he comes back, and mom's feeling bad, so she allows him to breastfeed. And he is a zombie now, and he puts his mouth on her boob, and that's the last time that boob was whole. It was just it was one of those things that you were like 13. I'm like,
it's bonkers.
I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it was so messed up. And the fact that an older kid was still breastfeeding too, that was a whole other topic on that movie. I was like, what is happening? This is so crazy. So yeah,
I got it for $1.
Yeah.
I was at a convention.
It's a great score.
It was like $1. Might be good. It was. It's pretty damn good.
I mean, it's nothing magical, but it's a good, just solid zombie film. So yeah. So that's one of my honorables.
So one of my other honorables, and this is a movie that I was super excited about. The trailers originally dropped for this film, and when it came out, I was so let down. I think I got so hyped for it, and then I watched it, and I was so let down. I hated it. Did not watch it again. And I've actually watched this in recent months again with new eyes, thinking, oh, this is going to suck. I want to put it on. And I watched it again, and I kind of fell in love with it this watch. And it's the movie The Dead Don't Die.
This is with Kylo Ren.
Adam Driver and
really?
Bill Murray.
I've got it in my list. I haven't watched it.
Iggy Pop's in it.
Really?
Danny Glover's in it.
Isn't Bill Murray in another zombie movie?
Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, that one.
Zombieland.
Zombieland. Yeah. Okay.
How do we not remember the title of the movie?
Yeah.
Zombieland.
Anyway,
both of us.
Anyway, Danny Glover's in it. Steve Buscemi's in it. Like, the cast is fucking great. And what I love about this movie, it's so meta. Like, it's very self-aware that it's a zombie film, to the point that, like, the beginning of the movie, I'm not even giving anything away because it happens at the very beginning of the movie. Adam Driver is literally looking at Bill Murray's character and going, this isn't going to end well for us. This isn't going to end well for us through the whole movie. Yeah, it's very self-aware of what it is. And the first time I watched it, I hated it. The second time I watched it, after I walked away from it for a couple of years and watched it, here in recent months, and I was like, why did I hate this movie? Why? This movie is so fucking good. It's slow, but it's so fucking good because of its kind of self-awareness meta, of itself, So, yeah, The Dead Don't Die.
Right on. I may have to check some of these out when I get a chance.
My last honorable mention, just to piss everybody off, I'm putting it on here. I still will argue that Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City is a good fucking film.
It's a damn good movie.
I agree.
And
yes. Nobody's fighting you here, buddy.
And it's better.
I thought you were going to bring that up earlier when I said this is one that I almost put on my list.
And it's better than all the other Resident Evil movies.
By a country mile.
Exactly. I mean, it's...
All
these online haters over Welcome to Raccoon City, you're fucking wrong.
Absolutely wrong. You always say I want a movie that is like the source material, and this was 100%. I was like watching because I came down here and did an episode with you. And we talked about that. What was it? Couldn't have been the remake episode. What were we doing?
No, we did the Welcome to Raccoon City.
Yeah, I know. Oh, we just did that by itself. Yeah. And so I had to watch it because of that. And I was just, I didn't like any of the other Resident Evil movies. But as soon as I'm watching this, I'm thinking, this is what the game is. Yeah. The angles that they shot it at, the way the monsters looked, the way the characters interacted in a kind of cheesy, weird dialogue-y kind of way that only comes across in video games from that era, it was perfect. I love that movie. Absolutely love it. I'm so glad that you got me to watch it. Because I don't know if I would have otherwise. And because I didn't like any of the other ones because they had nothing to do with the games.
And a lot of people skipped it because people hated on it. They're like, oh, I'm not going to watch it then.
Again, they're wrong.
You're fucked up.
They're absolutely wrong. And because of them, we're never going to get the sequel. And that sucks.
That sequel could have been great.
Him and I talk about this all the time, but I fucking hate negative fanboys, dude. There's just nothing worse.
Sometimes you're just like that just to be like that.
Yeah, and
like, this isn't what you really
one of the episodes we reviewed recently was Assassination Nation, and I told him like because I like to hear different points of view for the movies that we review, because I might have mine, but I want to hear what other people are saying. But like it was like a weird love-hate, where it's 50-50. There's no gray area, but the people who were negative against it they were just like, fuck this, it fucking sucked, it was awful, I wasted 2 hours. And I'm like, dude, what? Just take a step back. If you don't like it, don't review it. How about just I mean, I get there's negatives that have to happen too, but like,
but
when
then
you
It's like
hate
they
it,
want
when
the
you
negative because it's going to get more clicks and comments.
and it's like,
it's stupid.
I don't listen to Rotten Tomatoes, none of that shit, just because all those things. Like, I want to enjoy a movie for myself, get my own opinion, and think from there.
Well, the new Star Wars trilogy, I've seen some of those in the theater 4 or 5 times. Every time I see it, they're getting standing ovations. I'm watching people cry. Everybody's getting all these emotions. I get home and it's the worst movie ever when I turn on the internet. Like, how did this change?
But they made over $1 billion.
That's like
they were, and it makes them want to back off.
that's
and
like
not
us
do as
reviewing
much.
Acolyte, and we weren't pleased in the initial start of it. We followed it through, and we didn't feel it was that bad, but we wanted to see where it went. We wanted a second season.
Yeah, but
because
you guys
all
were
them
giving honest opinions about
Yeah.
it. Like I said, like that wasn't. I didn't hear anybody really.
Well,
fall
no, what
in
I
love
was saying
with
was
that.
because of these people that
Yeah.
are so hateful, we're never going to see that second season. So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
fucking awful.
It's stupid. And then no Raccoon City sequel either because of them.
Yeah.
And I would love to see that, because that was actually done real well. My wife thought the same with that one, because she's a diehard Resident Evil person too.
So
So
it plays the games and stuff. Yeah.
I play the game. She doesn't play the games, but
Oh.
I wish she would.
Okay.
I wish she'd pick up the controller, but it's been a long time. She grew out of that. I didn't, apparently. I have one more.
Go for it. I actually had one more too, but I went and cut it off. My phone
Pet
off.
Cemetery, and I also like Pet Cemetery Bloodlines from the Hulu
I did like
movie.
that.
I thought that was actually really
was
done well.
really
It wasn't
good.
bad. It wasn't bad.
Yeah. So, and those are loosely considered zombie, but they are zombies.
Hey,
So,
there's a dead person rising from the dead.
My last one.
oh boy, what do you
I'm not
got?
even gonna
He's
talk about. I'm
smiling.
not even going to talk about it much, but it was on my list. It was the last one on my list. Zombievers.
I was
Motherfucker.
gonna bring it up just because, just the nonsense that was rated on this 100 best zombie movies
It's 'cause
higher
it's-
than Zombie.
I agree with that.
Oh, get the hell out of here!
Zombievers is so fucking bonkers. It's good.
Zombievers. That's
What
the
the
one with
fuck?
Have you never
Jenna
seen
Jameson, right?
Zombievers?
I saw the title and I said I wasn't going to see it.
Oh no,
You
don't.
fucked up.
Don't. It's so
you
bad.
fucked up. It is so good.
I don't know, man. It's pretty bad, dude.
I will, on the title on itself.
Jenna
Kudos.
Jameson, right?
I think she's in it. Yeah,
Is that the one Robert Englund has a bit part?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I watched
Robert
it. but man,
Englund.
it's so
I
good.
mean, nowadays, he don't do Freddy Krueger anymore, but he sure will take a check.
you need to take a night and watch Zombievers and Lava Lantula and Lava
No.
I do want to
Two
watch
Lava Two
Two
Lantula.
Lava,
Yeah,
Two
I do want to
Lantula.
watch those just because they sound. Like we talked about earlier on,
Yeah.
how some things are just so bad they're good. I think that's going to be one of those.
That's
things.
what it is. That's what it is.
But Zombievers is a good one to go out on, I guess.
Yeah, Zombievers.
CineNerdsPodcast.com. Follow us there. What about your
Where
podcast?
can they follow you?
A Whole Damn Enchilada podcast. We go live on Facebook and YouTube every Thursday at 7. Follow the channel. We drop random episodes, just out of the blue once in a while as well. And yeah, that's where we're at.
Piggyback it. Go 7 o'clock with them, 8 o'clock with us.
Absolutely.
Every
right after
Thursday.
we're done. Yeah, they're the premiere of your episode's out. And I usually jump over there for a little bit when I can.
And for what you guys, that's usually what I'm doing if I'm not too tied up with something. If I'm not busy, I'm usually on his podcast chat at 7 o'clock, and then usually around 8 o'clock, if he's still on, I mosey over to our podcast and get in the live chat there. So I kind of try to do both live chats, but when I'm leaving for tour, a lot of times I can't.
Yeah.
But when I'm home, usually I try to.
Right on.
Cool. Well, thanks for coming on the show, Rick.
Thanks for having
Love
me. It was
having
a
you.
blast.
It was fucking great.
Yeah,
I
it was
love us.
definitely a good
I
discussion. It was a
love
good
like-minded friends talking about zombie and clean murder.
Yes.
All right, cool.
Zombiever murders.
Zombiever murder. Murdering the Zombiever. What?
I'm gonna go home and murder my wife's beaver.
On that note,
There you go.
peace out,
Peace.
guys.